All right, DGen Steady lads. We are doing our first Sunday episode. We've done a Saturday one before, but we've never gone Sunday. So hopefully you're snug in your weekends, not too distressed by the markets, but we have a lot to get through. Okay, we already have people needing ETH cope already. So same as every week.
Yeah,
let's
always
get it going. All right, GM, everybody, have a good Sunday. We are in the middle of a bit of a correction, both in market prices and also, I would say, in Trump season or possibly crime season. There seems to be a little bit of a reversion on some of those themes of the last couple months. So, how are you guys feeling?
It's good. It's good. I'm in California, seeing family, friends, trying to detox from this toxic ass market. Just trying to have a good time here. Not trying to stress too much.
At least you're not still full Fartcoin. I saw the latest Fartcoin. Maybe we can bring up the chart. But once
Oh
Taiki
no.
escaped, it's not looking great. Are you still in?
No. I sold. I seppuku, Jordy.
Seppuku.
Like
Okay.
yeah, we all saw all of CT saw the seppuku, so we all know what happened.
I see.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
brutal.
Any last thoughts on this adventure?
Um. Oh no, it's funny because like I'm getting married like in like under a week, and then my fiance's family like watches my videos, and they saw like my dildo arc. So like they're
Wedding
like
scandal.
they're like so it's like, is this guy serious? Does this guy know what he's doing? It's like, is everything okay? So I saw them yesterday. It's like, yeah, don't worry guys, like I'm okay. Uh, I still think Fartcoin is like one of the best coins to come out of the cycle. So the fact that it died or it's in the process of dying, hopefully it recovers, is like I just can't buy a meme coin anymore, because I had so much conviction. I thought it was like the best thing ever. So now like that's why I'm back to like my mid curve ways.
What's crazy, Tech, is you outperformed me holding ETH, right? Like you bought Fartcoin at like 70 cents. It went up to like 2 something, and then you round tripped it and sold it like basically flat. But ETH over the process of that time was down like 30%, right?
Well, like outperforming ETH is not really like a flex, right? it should just be a standard. Or so.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
tell your future wife spam like that. I outperformed the majors.
it's possibly going to be like a QE coin, right? Like next time Powell and everybody starts printing money, then people will just like naturally think of Fartcoin as the way to, it's like a piece of art. It's a hyper modern, expressive reaction towards money printing. Then we just put it in Fartcoin. So it's not the right time right now. Obviously, there's not a lot of money printing happening. In fact, it seems like the priority of the administration right now is on the 10-year bond, which in fact is reducing in yield. So possibly that's a healthy sign, but it's not good for Fartcoin.
Unfortunately not. It's not good for any crypto. I mean, just looking at the charts, everything's getting
Yeah, let's bring up Justin. Can you get CoinGecko up? Let's look at the painful mess here. I mean, if you go scroll to the very, very top, I think the market cap of the entire market has, if you go up, is at 2.8. It looked like 3 was going to be a floor, but clearly not. We can see that, basically everything down except for Cardano, which is still enjoying the weekly green based on this tweet. I mean, we all saw this tweet. Obviously, this kind of rocked the entire crypto world last weekend after we filmed. So it's the first time we're addressing it. There was a tweet saying ADA, XRP, and Sol by Donald J. Trump on Truth Social. Now, there's a big question: who is like writing these tweets? Does Trump know what those words mean? ADA. So does he know? Probably not. So who is writing these things? somebody on his team? Is it his kids? Is it his like his PA? Like I don't know who's writing this stuff. But
I feel like it's like Eric Trump. Eric Trump tweets are so cursed.
Yeah,
like, he's just like pumping and dumping on the weekend, and then on Sunday he's like, "Yo, retail investors, they have an edge, right? Buying on a weekend," and then Monday we just retrace the entire thing.
It's so interesting because like Trump tweeted this out, and it's actually, I mean, it's not even close to what happened. It was actually kind of the reverse, right? Like there's a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and then there's a stockpile of all of the shit coins the US government has seized. And David Sachs has now come out since then and said like Bitcoin stands above the rest of them all. And we might even consider rebalancing these shit coins we have into Bitcoin or just selling them. But now there's a stockpile that holds these with people responsible that can determine when to sell them.
Yeah.
And so it's so interesting. Like
I don't think this was like planned. My understanding is like maybe they thought this made sense. They sent it out, and then there was so much pushback from everyone. Like, why the hell are you putting XRP and Cardano into like there was so much mainstream pushback that Sachs and people like this who I guess care about their reputation are prioritizing Bitcoin as like a very neutral thing that they can push. I think ETH might have been in that category. Everyone's just sort of not wanting to attach themselves to what's been like a sinking ship, but like hopefully at some point ETH kind of qualifies as neutral enough as well. But my feeling is that this was not manipulation. It was just like they don't know what they're doing. And what we always see is like when there's this kind of grifting or stuff going on, it's like the mafia. It's like when there's like or like drug families, they start kind of shooting each other because they're fighting over the turf. And we saw there was a news that XRP put Solana into that list just so they could try to fly under the radar. Like, okay, Solana's kind of legit. Let's put them, and then we can kind of add ourselves, and maybe it'll pass through. So this is the kind of stuff that's going on, it seems.
Yeah. So I think the based carbon. I mean, this video was everywhere, but there was like this tweet of like a video of like Trump signing the thing, right? The EO. Yeah, and then he had like, it seems like he had no idea what was in this. So I want to get like your takes on this. So like my interpretation is that Trump made promises with his campaign. He kept those promises, and now he doesn't really care about crypto anymore, right? He did what he had to do, and now he can kind of move on. Do you guys agree with my take of like my interpretation of like that video, or am I reading too much?
Are you you're basically saying this is like the last thing? He doesn't actually care about crypto. This is the last thing.
Yeah, I think this is like the last thing he'll ever talk about with crypto. I mean, yeah. I'm sure he'll randomly tweet out like, "Oh, if Bitcoin pumps, then he's gonna take credit for it."
I think
I don't think so. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. So I was on Thicky, did one of his research and vibing Twitter Spaces that I was on with him, and he pitched your thesis, Taiki, as well. He said, "Promises made, promises kept." Like he did everything he said he was going to do. What more could we ask for? And I think that's true from his level, right? Like I expect him to talk about crypto less. That said, like the changes he's making and putting crypto people, in charge of the SEC, helping legislate different crypto deregulation or proper regulation. I think he's going to continue doing that. David Sachs came out and saying he wants a market structure bill in the next few months, which would be very helpful to, classify things as collectibles versus digital securities, etc. So things are going to be coming out, but I expect many fewer splashy headlines than what we've seen where Trump's literally pumping tokens. I don't think that's going to happen going forward, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I have the completely opposite take. I don't think that your read is accurate in terms of like he just ticked the box and he's moving on. I think there's no surprise there. He doesn't actually exactly know himself what the hell's going on. He just knows crypto's a thing and these guys have a lot of money. Like that's his like level of understanding. The thing that surprises me, I still talk to like sophisticated participants who keep telling me like, "Oh man, I can't believe Trump got so greedy after the Trump coin. He launched the Melania coin. Like that was a fumble. He should have not." Like, you have no understanding of what's happening? Like, these are just like random teams close to people that they can, be able to get access to the Twitter and tweet stuff. But it's not like Trump is sitting around in his office thinking like, oh, I launched this one, let me launch the other one, and what's the right CA for this? He's not involved in any of this stuff. There is no like single strategy. People always want to like assume that there's a
I cannot. I can't handle the World Fi Liberty tweets that are like, Trump just bought another $50 million of ETH. Like, no, Trump did not buy ETH. He knows nothing about ETH. Like, this team that he put his name onto bought some ETH.
Exactly. So like this video is just the same representation that he has no clue what's going on. However, I completely disagree that we're done with crypto. Like, all the people around him are still very like crypto interested in different ways. There's things they can do. They're always going to know that there's a lot of potential in the crypto space. And even like the VP, a lot of people are pro crypto. So we're going to see a lot of more crypto stuff. This is just a reflection of like Trump not being really that.
Yeah. Sorry, I maybe I worded it incorrectly. Like I'm fairly bullish, like things like the stablecoin bill, right, which is like going to happen like before August, I believe. Like I think it's like this with the sentiment in the markets right now. I feel like everyone's saying, oh, this is short-term bearish, but mid to longer term bullish is like the vibe that everyone's like is like saying. Maybe that's like a coping mechanism, right? If you want ETH cope, there you go, short-term bearish, medium to longer term bullish. And like the majority of the stable coins are on Ethereum as well, so maybe like that's also beneficial. Oh, we hit 10K subs. Okay, that's good. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
I mean, let's look back at since November. I mean, we had this up only from November. We, as Justin said last time, we thought that inauguration might be the top. It was literally like friggin' like the top. Like that was it. The Trump coin launch itself kind of gave that last fuel, and I think just exhausted the market. And when you have these like situations where there's hopium that all this TradFi money is going to come in and all this stuff, we overshoot, and we did like overshoot in a lot of stuff, especially like all this junk. And I mean, now the Trump coin is it's getting back to like $10, even without any unlocks happening yet. And that's probably like a representation of this meta of like Trump is gonna just backstop crypto forever. That's definitely not seeming to be the case, and most coins are below the election, despite all the SEC dropping all the lawsuits. So it feels like these metas are potentially changing. We talked about the Kelsier thing with Evgeny last week, and how that was maybe like a turning point in terms of the crime season, because things are coming out, something's happening. It's not just like free for all looting the stores. And today, just as before we were getting ready, we saw that Binance and CZ have also been announcing coming down on one of the market makers that has been extracting the max extraction playbook. Maybe we can bring up some of the tweets here. I think CZ tweeted something around what was happening here, but
he like retweeted that post.
Yeah, we have a post in Chinese here that we're translating. Basically, Mei Liu, never met this Mei Liu, but my understanding is the firm is Web3 Port, as we see in this tweet here. So Web3 Port is kind of tied to some OG type of Chinese VC thing going on called Spark Digital, and doing a lot of free token stuff. And it seems like what CZ's retweeting here, they became some kind of specialty package project in the industry, and Binance's retail investors. It's interesting that CZ retweeted this. It says Binance's retail investors have also become their long-term ATMs. Oh my God! I just read this for the first time. I didn't realize that was in there. So I guess CZ doesn't want his users to be the ATMs of Web3 port.
There's the famous CZ tweet, right? Turn your friends into revenue.
What's interesting is like that is their business model to some extent, right? Like they're able to charge such a high fee for listing because they have all the customers and they have all the users that are willing to buy their token. So there's like a weird push and pull there.
No crying in the casino, Justin. If it's their casino, they get to set the rules, and they've been running that for a long time. So I think it's good. I have been saying, if you guys remember, in like some of our very first episodes, we had some of these. I don't know if it was DWF or these, like we had these TRB type of charts that over like New Year's a year ago were just like scam, all kinds of stuff was going on. And I was saying at the time that we actually need Binance to step in because there's no single governmental agency able to sort of cover, Asia and US, like everywhere. And this is the first time that I've actually seen Binance step in and do something. We saw last cycle that there was a Wall Street Journal article about how DWF was investigated and they just didn't do anything. In fact, they fired the team that was like reporting stuff. So this is a huge turnaround. This is good news. I think, hopefully there's a little bit of end to the crime meta that's been happening.
Yeah. So a question for you guys, like, if this is the end of the crime meta, right? No more crime. I mean, there's always gonna be crime, but like, less extraction, right? What's next? At the beginning of the episode, I talked about how I'm becoming a mid curve again. So like, will fundamentals like start to matter? What do you think is next, right? Following, I guess Q1, like, Q2 and beyond. Like, what do you think the markets will look like? Like, what will do well, etc.
There's always new narratives, right?
Do you have something, Justin?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, I think the question you even asked before, what's next, is like, one, are there still cycles? Two, if there are cycles, where are we in the cycle? Is it over? If the cycle is over, then clearly a lot of stuff is going to get washed out and there's not going to be new launches for a while. If the cycle is not over, I actually expect, and we see another resurgence, like all of the crime is going to come back. I don't think anything like fundamentally changed. Like I'm in some group chats that are like very much in the trenches, and people are still like looking for shit coins to buy on Solana that started low market cap and, they want to see pump. I don't think that's going anywhere, but I think it's just cycle dependent. Like if we're at the all-time highs again next week, you better believe more of this crime is going to continue to happen. You're going to see everyone launching their own meme coins, right? I think it's going to come back. So I think it's really just a question of like where we are in this cycle personally. And on that note, I was going to say, like, that's probably the question on everyone's mind. Like, are there still cycles and where are we? I'm actually getting kind of optimistic. Like I was on Thicky's Spaces and he's very bearish now. I mean, he's typically bearish crypto, which is fine, but he's very bearish. Like there's no more catalyst, nothing's coming. Like we just had all the best news, like time to fade back down to the lows, like the actual bear market lows. I actually think like, if the market is even fairly efficient, like it's now been priced in that like everything we asked for has happened. There's no immediate catalyst in the long term and we're still like here, right? And so I think there's actually like a lot of room for us to do very well if, we just get a new catalyst, something new to believe in, new developments like on the tech side, new nation states getting interested, etc. I mean, it's like Jordy says, right? You don't want to be short Bitcoin because literally at any time there's so much headline risk, right? Like some like a Middle Eastern country, like a very wealthy country.
I mean, Middle East already started
buying.
They already started buying. I mean, Mubadala announced in their last reports that they held like $500 million of Bitcoin, and I think they will keep going and they will keep buying. And Saylor has stopped for a little bit. We saw his latest announcement here. He said that they have sold no stock. They did not sell any shares and did not purchase any Bitcoin. Womp womp womp. They still have 499,000. So he's taking a bit of a break after literally buying half a yard of BTC.
Look how much his cost basis went up. I just realized that I hadn't checked that in a while. It's now $66,000 cost basis per Bitcoin. Like, weren't we talking just a few months ago and it was like 30K and we're like, he's safe. No, it's getting up there.
He's safe anyway. I mean, he can't get liquidated any in the next few years, so I think it's fine. He's kind of done his financial alchemy and just acquired a lot. I think I talked to Thicky as well. I don't think that the price target of, you know, getting back to 70 and lower is really, it's not my base case. I think there's people looking to buy cheap Bitcoin. And we saw Nick Carter here. He was a little bit more optimistic. He was obviously against having shitcoins in a national strategic reserve. And he says the announcement could have gotten better. Campaign promises kept. There is a Bitcoin reserve, distinguished from the altcoin bullshit. And there's an official seal of approval. No taxpayer dollars spent to buy coins, so no backlash. And the future acquisition of coins left to Congress. I think, yeah, I mean, they kept it clean. Like, there's nothing too controversial. I think they wanted to maybe try something more aggressive, but, you know, this is the thing that actually doesn't have any downsides. And ultimately, it protects us from them selling coins, though. Like, this is like still huge. I remember being worried about like that they were going to dump everything before Trump got into office.
Yeah, literally just they got approval to do so, and then right before Inauguration Day. What I'm proud about crypto Twitter though, because like this is the first time I think I've ever seen like the crypto consensus come around the actual correct decision. Like it was pretty hard pressed to find a single person that believed anything other than Bitcoin should be in the reserve. I mean, some people were arguing ETH, but even ETH maxis were sort of saying like it's better to just be Bitcoin. We don't need this, and I really respect that. I think they actually did make the correct decision. One thing I have been thinking though is like, imagine it was a Kamala or Biden that had created this national Bitcoin strategic reserve. I kind of think the rest of the world would take it more seriously. Like, imagine if, you know, Kamala had won, and obviously she never would have done this, but just imagine she had announced a Bitcoin strategic reserve. You know, Europe would get excited, you know, more of the rest of the world would get interested. I think because it's Trump and he's such a polarizing figure, like it's probably less appealing for other countries to start competing and accumulating Bitcoin. What's your guys' take on that? Do you still expect, you know, over the next couple of years, a lot of other countries are going to create their own strategic reserve?
Yeah, I'm pretty bullish on other countries getting involved. There's been whispers around like Brazil right now, I think. Yeah, I mean, the US, like this whole thing, of course, like when you have the US dollar, you have that hegemony. It doesn't really make sense to try to backstop it. We had this tweet by John Arnold, you know, legend investor. He's basically saying, you know, this idea that we have 36 trillion in debt, but it's okay because we have, you know, some gold backing or some Bitcoin backing. It doesn't really make sense. Like when you're the country that's just printing money, the no reserve is better than having one. We saw this maybe with Luna, if you guys remember. Like they started building a Bitcoin reserve to backstop the Luna, and it was like that was the end of Luna. Like when there was no backing and it was just nothing, and then it was fine. And then as soon as like he tried to get some Bitcoin behind it, we went to zero.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe like the fall of the dollar is when, like, you know, the dollar goes to shit, and then their last resort is just buying as many Bitcoin as possible, and then like that's like the top for like the U.S. like dominance or something. It's like a fun thing to think about. Yeah, but
so let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, like I actually, like, you know, going back to like Justin's optimism, right? I'm pretty optimistic like stablecoins. It seemed like the main takeaway. I mean, honestly, like I watched like the crypto summit, and I don't really think there's like much takeaway, right? They were shilling like the FIFA coin, and then I don't know, like this like weird stuff. But I think Besant made it clear that he wants, and like Sachs too, that he wants stablecoins to grow, and he wants to create more favorable regulation, and he wants like the first draft on this desk by August. So I actually think that, you know, it's going to enable like more institutions to eventually come, right, create their own stablecoin, partner with stablecoin issuers and whatnot. So I'm pretty optimistic like DeFi, honestly. I know that's like super mid curve and stuff, but Yeah, I have some optimism
Good.
there
I
as
mean,
well.
I think this is more wholesome for your wife's family. You know, you're a more respectable member of society as a
Yeah,
DeFi proponent.
That was a
So
Yeah,
crazy
that's
couple months there. That was insane. Come to think of it.
yeah. No, I was kind of thinking like if crypto goes to zero and then I need like a job, then like I feel like I can never get employed because then they do a background check and then they see all this stuff, right? It's like, oh my god, I'm really stuck here
and
now. I'll be st-
what happened to what happened to the dildos?
oh, it's still back in New York. It's no longer on my desk. You know,
Okay.
it's like out of sight, but it's still there.
It's have you guys seen that meme where like the guy's walking back into McDonald's and he says like, "Hey, I'm sorry for quitting," or no, explain this gap in your resume. It's like, well, for a couple months there, I really believed in the Bitcoin super cycle.
With a Fartcoin super cycle.
Yeah, I think speaking of interesting things going on, we have a Kanye West reappearance. So if you guys remember, we had him tease that he was going to make a token. He was tweeting all this stuff going on, and then deleted everything. Now he somehow got connected with Ansem, or heard about Ansem, and I think Ansem is the celebrity whisperer. I've been in the room with him and exactly this kind of like setup here where he's chatting with a celebrity and explaining stuff and we're trying to go through stuff. I don't know what the hell is going on in Ye's head. He's clearly doing some like performance art stuff. He is an artist. He reminds me of like Miladies. I've talked to the Miladies founder Charlotte Fang, and there's a certain like idea of being post canceled, and I think Kanye's just been trying to get canceled so that he can be post canceled. Like that's the dream. So he was like tweeting the Binance logo, and then CZ was interacting, and then I think to troll him, he started making the Binance logo into a swastika. That was like an epic one, and then we just checked his Twitter. The only thing he has is like a Ku Klux Klan outfit. So, the engagement is being done at all costs. He probably is purposely trying to get post canceled.
I think Ansem might be the right guy. Like you mentioned, he's the celebrity whisperer. I watched this video. The video is deleted now, but the transcript, I'm just like was scrolling through it here, and he's like actually does like a pretty good job of onboarding crypto to someone that's not like familiar with how any of this stuff works or why you should care. Which I thought is pretty interesting. Like I agree, he's a good representative to send out there. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and like obviously Kanye, like this guy's crazy, but even on Twitter, right? Like Elon is like anti-cancel culture, but even I think Kanye is like shadow banned on Twitter. So like obviously like I don't agree with Kanye's views and stuff, but isn't he like a good person isn't he like a type of person that would benefit from like something that can't be censored technically, right? I'm not sure like if anything he builds is going to be of value. I'm pretty sure he's gonna max extract, and like back in the day, I went to Coachella to see Kanye, and then he's just like
I was there too, dude.
Weekend. Oh really?
Too?
He rugged us. He didn't even show up. I was like, oh my god. So he's not really the type of person to deliver on his promises, but who knows?
He's definitely not reliable. I remember I went to try to watch him in the Bay Area, and this was like 2016 before the Hillary election. And he just went on stage and he just like stood there, wouldn't sing, and people started like literally throwing their shoes at him. Like they were just throwing shoes, and he would just pick up the shoes and just like neatly like put them in pairs on stage, and then he just made like a row of people's shoes. The guy is just like he's a huge troll. He's not as dumb as he looks. He's definitely like purposely trolling, but he's also a little bit a little bit out there. So let's see what happens. We don't know if there's going to be a coin. There's a poly market on whether he's going to launch a coin in March. I think it's at like somewhere in the 30%. The February one ended at 0. I had spoken to a team that was trying to help him launch a coin and actually had some pretty good ideas, but he sort of like rugged them as well. Hopefully, like whatever happens in the end is not going to be anything like Malay, and maybe like I saw some hopium that some people were Hopium aligned that maybe he would do something that kind of brought some life back into the trenches, which seem to be a little bit deflated at the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments here. Ben Techie still holding a grudge. I think NA, just in like the start comment, like how do you guys best assess how market participants are positioning here? And like I'm in like a group chat, and then like it's like all traders, and there's like this running joke that like as long as people are trying to bid the Fartcoin dip, then the bottom is not in, because people still like keep like leverage longing Fartcoin, and people are still longing Fartcoin. So I feel like, you know, the bottom is in when people stop longing Fartcoin.
Yeah, maybe that's the bottom. I mean, we're seeing everything. Even like the fundamental coins are not doing great. We're seeing Hyperliquid kind of reach lows, you know, since maybe like the first week. Kind of breaking below that $15 line. I saw that, you know, there's some tweeting going on by Jeff now, trying to explain what Hyper EVM is, and you know, because they launched their chain, but obviously it's a little bit messy. Like even for us that are native to the space, like you can bring up his tweet, maybe Chameleon Jeff just tweeted a while ago.
Very long.
He's saying that, like, you know, there's different blocks and trying to give people understanding. It was always clear to me that the product works well now as a centralized product, and then when you move to like a more decentralized product like DYDX did, the consumer suffers. So I think Hyperliquid did the right thing by not touching the existing thing. So it seems like if you scroll down a little bit, there's a go down a little bit more. There's a comment here by Julian, who's on their team, and he has a picture of the stack.
You scroll past. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so here it kind of shows that there's the Hyper Core and there's the Hyper EVM, and I guess the thing that people are using, which is like the trading, is on the core, and then the EVM is like separate, but they have a unified bridge, so you can bridge between them without any risk or whatever. So it's like, but they're kind of kept separate, and I think this is probably on purpose, because as soon as you take an on-chain order book and actually make it on-chain, the use kind of goes down.
And in terms of like market positioning, right? Like obviously, I think a lot of people piled into hype for like the perceived safety, given like the fundamentals and like the Twitter social consensus layer, and the buybacks. And I'm also kind of like in the mid-curve mentality of like buybacks being good. Of course, it kind of depends on like the type of buybacks, but like I think on Sunday, like last Sunday, when there was like the pumping, like the Truth Social tweet, right? Everything pumped except Maker and Hype. So it kind of felt like people piled into like the safety bags, because we're like in a choppy market. But then as soon as people want to go risk on, they have to sell those bags to buy other bags. So it kind of told me that there's really little liquidity in the ecosystem, where like there's not new money entering. If someone's buying a bag, it's because they're selling something to buy a new bag. And I think stuff like that, it kind of gives you like a sense on like how people are positioned. It's like if Hype supposedly to be the best bag and it keeps bleeding, then it's probably because people are over positioned, and then there has to be like some time-based capitulation. But obviously I'm bullish Hype, right? But you know, I still think that, you know, stuff like this will take time to play out, and you know, Hype doesn't have catalysts for it nowadays. But I'm like really bullish Hyper EVM. I think it's like one of the few chains that has like actual hope.
I mean, everything we've seen is sort of tells the same story, which is that if you're going to launch a chain, you just need one app. If you just get one app that brings people over, you're kind of set, and you can kind of, you know, make do and grow from there. Like with Base, if you guys remember Friendtech back in the day, that got everyone to bridge to Base, and now Base is Ethereum to some extent, right? Like Solana with Pump.Fun, that app made Solana for this cycle, right? Like it's hard to imagine where Solana would be without Pump.Fun if Pump.Fun launched in the Ethereum ecosystem. So I think they have a good shot. You know, it just takes one app, but obviously like it's hard to justify, like, you know, if you're a new person and you have USDC, are you really bridging that USDC on chain and then buying Hype with it right now? Like like, no, there's not really much risk on capital coming in. So it's hard to imagine people bidding this thing at, $15 billion, but we'll see.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Solana's at 130 again, after pumping to like close to 180 during the Trump tweet. So there's still more unlocks to come. Unfortunately, it's not quite over yet.
What are you seeing there, Jordy? Like, do you think a lot of that stuff's already priced in and it's just going to be a little incremental sell pressure? Or like, are you seeing a lot of these deals get done, or are a lot of the people that bought OTC just trying to sell them or sell them locked?
I mean, the biggest part of the unlock happened already like a week ago. So most of it's out. There's still like some more. I think maybe like a third of it or something. There's still a bit more. Most of it's out, but there's no pretending like it didn't impact the price. I mean, obviously, like it's been super heavy even compared to other stuff. I don't know if it's like the bottom, but I would say it's probably like near. I think there's a lot of people just kind of full port it if it goes like near like 110.
Yeah. I have my story about ETH on this that I actually shared with Thicky on his Spaces. So it's kind of embarrassing, but I was like got very like emotional about crypto. Was like kind of I wouldn't say panicked, but like I just want to preserve more capital, like rebalance, move more over to equities. And I was like, I sold my ETH and like
all of it.
Yeah, all of it, or not all of it, but like a good chunk at like 2150. And I was like, hold on a second. And, I sat on that for a day, just like held the USDC. And then I was like, hold on, if I'm selling, like someone that's held for ETH for 5 years and have been like supporting this thing, building in the ETH ecosystem, like genuinely a fan of like what they've done. If I'm selling here, like who is left to sell, right? And like I actually really, that's kind of like what I'm thinking, like what makes me bullish about the space right now is like who wanted to go risk off that hasn't yet, right? Like who's still holding Ethereum that's now going to capitulate right now, right? Like sure, of course there's like short-term traders, but like the majority of coins are held by long-term holders. And I really don't think I just don't see people having like the people that are here now still holding. I don't see them losing conviction in the next couple months and dumping everything. But I don't know. I try to view myself as a counter signal there. If
I think it depends on the
ready
coin,
to sell,
right? It depends on the coin.
Yeah.
And I think going back to like the positioning question, I think Hustlin, right? We had Hus on the podcast. I forget, like sometime last year, but I think he was betting on up, right, for markets because what he noticed is that there's like this crazy appetite to short, right? Whenever the market pumps, people are like rushing to short. When the market's dump, it's like, oh yeah, like of course it's gonna dump, and people are like rushing to short. And I feel like the market being cooked has become so consensus that like I'm not even saying we're gonna like start pumping, right? But maybe maybe ETH at 2K and Bitcoin at 80K is like fair value, given everything that's happened, and then maybe just kind of chop around here. I can definitely see that for the next few months. So I mean, yeah,
cool. Yeah, we got a few questions in the chat as well. Latest one, Eduardo is asking opinion on Hyperliquid. I've tried to use Hyperliquid a lot as just like a retail user as well to experience it. I think the fees are higher than what I can get on like a Binance or something. Quite a bit higher. I think it's like something like 3 bips and then minus 0.3 on Maker, versus like on Binance it's like 1.3. You can get it down to like 1.3, 1.4, and like half a bip rebate. So liquidity is also better on Binance. So like for a pure like BTC player or like a major player, I'll have to trade it on Binance. And I think that's true for any large trader. Like high stakes cap is the same thing. I think the times I really like using Hyperliquid is if like the Melania launch and there's a perp within like an hour and nobody else has a perp, and then all the open interest is there, and it's like it has this like unique thing you can do, and then I love to use it. The UI is nice, everything's clean. You can still feel the latency there's some latency difference between a centralized exchange, like a fully centralized exchange. Even if it's sub-second, you can still feel it. I think they've done a tremendous job of capturing market share. I think their daily volume is over 10% of like a Binance, and that's huge. Like we've never seen that much of a cut before. There seem to be about like 20,000 active users versus like 1,000 for Jupiter or DYDX. So they've clearly kind of been ahead of the category, but I'm not sure that anyone else will start trading there apart from like those natives, because the institutions will still care about that 1 BIP. 1 BIP matters a lot. I think the next thing they probably need to do is like gamify the leaderboards a bit more and like give points for different leaderboards, different things. Yeah, maybe kind of like make it like a competitive environment, just like all these like autistic, guys that try to make money trading. They want to have a leaderboard of some sort, just like in the poker days. There was like Supernova Elite and all these like public things, and people try to win them, because trading is a game for a lot of people, and I think it needs to be fun. So
Yeah.
I think they need to be more fun.
Jordy, I have a question for you. Like what do you have? What's your bull case for Hyper EVM? Right, because obviously the Hyperliquid product is good, but do you think the EVM can supplement and complement like the main product?
Not really. I don't really get it. I mean, the only thing I'm betting on is that the team is super strong. So like they're very good at shipping good quality things, and maybe they'll be able to ship something on that side that's very good. So I don't get the exact plan there, and like it's hard to build like an ecosystem of builders that just come and decide to build on your chain and do something that's going to catch on a lot. So we'll see. It's hard to see. I think someone's asking about Berachain. I think Berachain has a pretty good ecosystem from what I've tried, but everything is sort of based around this meta now with the farming of the validator token, and
IVGT.
yeah, I think that's going to create a bit of a cycle as people try to play that game, and we'll see how it goes. Do you have any view on Berachain, Taiki?
Pretty neutral. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they just create like a DeFi chain with like one extra layer of tokenomics, right? They just added like an additional, instead of like inflating the actual token, they're inflating another token that can convert to the L1 token. Like I'm not sure if that.
I mean, we had that tweet the other week was like we need Ponzi's that don't look like Ponzi's. Maybe in this case it still looks like a Ponzi, but like nobody can exactly figure out.
Yeah, like we had
exactly how to play it.
Yeah, it's like we had the VE, and now we have VE33, and now people are coming up with like X33, and like adding one extra layer of pumpamentals, like it's not enough. The markets are too smart to like see through it. Like we can see through all this, right? So I don't really see how, like, they have vape to earn, but like I don't think that really matters for Berachain's future. That being said, it's like the best place to farm right now. I think stables are paying like 15-20%. It's just like fine, but it's like you go there to farm and dump the token, right? You're not really going there to like buy the token, I think. So yeah, it's like a good place to farm and dump.
I see a question here about Hey Anon. I haven't like gone too much into this Daniela Sesta stuff, so I don't have an opinion. I don't know if you guys have tried anything there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a DeFi AI, right? We had like the whole agent thing, but that's
yeah,
about
I tried it. It's pretty unimpressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
saw this
question about
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Someone asked about. Let me see if I can pull the question up. Someone asked about Binance's vote to list process, and I pulled up the tweet here. That's like pretty interesting, right? I haven't gone too in depth. I'm not sure if it's voting with the BNB token or just users on the platform. But if it's voting with the token, actually, I think that's like a pretty interesting mechanic that sort of like washes Binance's hands clean of what they decide to list.
Can you click on the read more? Let's see. Like, let's read more. I mean, as a concept, I think Binance has been moving towards trying to open up the listing and like push back against the comments around what kind of cabal it is, and so maybe this is one step in that direction. It seems like you have to just have any amount of BNB. Any amount of BNB, I guess, gets you a vote. Is it? Let's see. You can vote to delist. That's pretty intense. You can wake up with choosing violence in the morning.
That could be fun.
It's funny though. Like I just had this thought of like everyone that's voting to list something probably already has bags of that token. In which case, like, what's the point of do they really care if it's on Binance? But I actually do think this is like an interesting model to experiment with. Like, why not try this? It could work. It adds some transparency into the listing process. Gives goals for teams.
I think it's kind of depends on how it's done here. I need to see the details. We need to see an actual cycle of of voting and like how the voting is done. Maybe they could collaborate with Kaido or something like that has that like they have that leaderboard for like pre-TGE mindshare. That would be a good partnership, I think. I mean, Kaido's listed on Binance, so I guess they have some connection there, but that was pretty fun. I voted a few times. I had some yaps and I had to allocate which project, and I had a few projects ask me to allocate to them. I had to like split it in a couple of places, but I think that's pretty cool. So like if you're active on crypto Twitter and you have some yaps, maybe you can vote that way. I thought that was nice. So let's see what Binance is going to do.
Yeah. Quick question for you guys. Like, for me, like recently, I've been spending like a lot less time on Twitter or crypto Twitter. Like, do you how much time do you spend on Twitter, you guys? Like,
I actually had this thought last night. I actually like deleted the Twitter app on my phone. Vicky kind of convinced me of that because he's like, it's literally anti-signal on Twitter. Like, I think gone are the days where like we're finding great research reports, like long threads about how projects works, like people finding new, smaller projects. Everyone is just so depressed in the timeline and cynical. So I've been trying to use it. I mean, it's still very important, right? If you're building a brand, if you're working on something, it's the go-to marketing channel. But I don't know if being there is too healthy these days. It's pretty crazy.
Wow, we got Sam Harris on the podcast here. Interesting. I didn't expect this.
I mean, surely you guys have, dude, I just go in these cycles where like my main activity on my phone is refreshing CoinGecko, going to Deck Screener, checking Twitter. Why? What's the point? If I'm not really even actively trading,
I'm definitely like not going on Twitter for signal on like what to buy. I'm going there for like like entertainment, and entertainment factor is like huge. I mean, it's tremendous. It's entertaining as ever, right? You get your Doge Queen video drop every week. There was like a BitBoy one this week.
Speaking of entertainment, do you want to rate my tweet? Like this tweet went viral,
but
I'm pretty proud of this one. Yeah. So, what did you?
2550 ETH, man. Like that was only 6 days ago. I don't know if we're gonna see 2550 ever again. Oh my god.
This was a week ago. That was the high. 2550.
Oh my god. Is it ever gonna happen again? So you kind of saw his victory lap here. He's like, I love the genius of announcing the strategic reserve on Sunday. Allows retail to win. And then Taiki, you represent the retail common man, I think. The mid curve is alive with you. How did you come up with this troll?
I mean, this is kind of like calling out Eric Trump in a sense. It's like, what the fuck are you doing type of vibe. But I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that like bought ETH at the highs and it got liquidated, right? I bought a little bit of ETH, which I just like sold immediately. I'm like what the fuck am I doing here? But I'm pretty proud of this tweet. Twitter is just like a place for entertainment, right? I feel like there's not really much good info you can get at it nowadays. Sorry to distract.
And it's so wild, like how like, you know, month to month we're so back, it's so over, like it just changes again. It I don't know, like I feel pretty good. This whole situation suits my personality because I'm always I never get too excited when the market's up, and I don't feel desperate when the market's down, and this kind of choppiness has been suiting me totally fine. So I'm just gonna keep buying dips on coins that are not releasing a ton of new tokens.
Are you seeing there's fewer projects talking to you about launching? Is like the flow of people ready to do TGE slowing down with the market?
Yeah, we just had like a big rush. I mean, we supported some of the recent launches, like Kaido and some of these guys. I think that was public. I think there's a few big ones left for the next few months, but yeah, it might get a bit quiet until Q3 when we get like the monads and like hopefully all of that stuff. So not too many huge ones left, I would say right now.
Conformist asked, well, you said you're buying like things that you like that actually like products with product market fit. I mean, is there anything you can share aside from the majors, obviously? Like, is there anything that's very much exciting you in this space right now?
I don't know about exciting me, but there's prices at which like I just like have to buy, and I have to assume that like it's either gonna die or like I'll get like a chance to sell it 50% higher. WorldCoin is one which like I can't believe how much it's fallen. I've been buying this for a while and kind of been buying it on the way down, but seeing it like at all-time lows, and I know like how much cash they have in their reserve because they have a ton of money, but seeing it at 83 cents is sort of like unreal. So I have been stocking up more and more. I've been holding for a while, and I have more. Maybe some altman comes back from his babycation. He has a little their surrogate had a baby, and he's been offline. I hope he comes back, looks at the chart, and just like decides to blast it a bit himself.
He has to secure his kid's future now.
Damn, I didn't know it was like that low.
It's unreal. Yeah, it's really crazy. I have continued to short Trump into the ground. I mean, I can't see that token making any sense, especially once I got it kind of confirmed that the people who launched it are, Trump himself has like almost no relation to this token. So I'm short that. I'm not touching Solana still until I feel like everything's done. Yeah, there's a few more shorts that I probably can't talk about. Mainly, like, here's the problem. Like, when you're long something, you can talk about it. Everybody can long. It's fine. You can kind of long together. When you're short, you don't want like too many shorts to come in. You want it to sort of like naturally play out without people shorting the perp. You just want whoever's gonna unlock spot to sell the spot. If you have too many shorts in, the funding gets weird. Like it's just a mess. So unfortunately, like shorting is going to continue to be a bit of an alpha game, and you can't like share your shorts that easily, I would say, unless it's like Bitcoin or something.
Interesting. Damn. Someone in the chat said I look fat. The fuck?
What's going on, man? Are you?
I need to.
Are you stress eating?
Am I gaining weight? Am I gaining weight?
I gotta ban this guy.
Wait, what? No, you don't have to ban him. No.
People are just get so salty when, like, I mean, I get it, right? Like, price is down. It's not fun, right? It's more fun when we were 2x higher.
Oh, no.
I mean, like, there's stuff that, like, again, like, there's some stuff that I'm just like, is this dead or should I just buy? Like, I just saw like ARC, which was one of the AI coins on Solana. I mean, this is just like unreal. Holy shit! It's like eight something cents. I don't know if the team's still working on this
new framework, right?
Yeah, no. Like, there's actually a lot of questions on like the AI coins. I think Justin brought this up. It's like Shaw from AI16Z. He's still like coding every single day, doing like the live stream and stuff. ARC actually has a community, which is like still right, which is kind of impressive. they've dropped like a framework, and they're trying to take like a more because like with AI16Z in virtual, like anyone can launch anything, but with the ARC, the team kind of handpicks who can launch, so it's like more higher quality. But it's hard to buy these coins. There's too many bag holders. It's every
Yeah,
pump
man.
could be sold
But
into.
on the AI16Z note, like every time I pull up Twitter, and it's like 50% of the time, Shaw is live streaming him coding, and he's just like in building mode, which you kind of gotta respect and wonder, like, hell, maybe he builds his way out of this thing.
There's like 2,000 people on his streams and stuff, right? Like, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's down over 90%. I've said in the past that I just, I thought he was a bit too unstable. I didn't like it. But at this price, like 20 cents here, like maybe it's, I'm kind of punting a bit of a long. So I'm buying some of the AI stuff. I'm buying a bit of ARC, a bit of AI16Z. I mean, it's either going to be totally dead or it's going to go up a lot. So I'm buying those two.
Interesting.
A few other things I'm buying.
Damn, Jordy's buying a lot. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think Pengu is starting to get into like this territory where, again, it's either going to die or it's going to go up a ton.
So what's the thinking there, though? It's like 60% of the time these things die, but when they don't die, it pays for all the losers.
The thinking is following, like you have cycles, and they're like liquidity cycles. So they're not these like 4-year bullshit cycles, but there's cycles where like things are going up, and when things are going up, people are looking for things to bid. And our job right now as like midterm investors is think like, okay, when the next money wave comes in and there's liquidity again and people are like looking for stuff to bid, what are they going to bid? Obviously I fucked up last time. I thought it was going to be ETH and it was XRP. So like, you can get it wrong, but you should at least try to think about like what coin is coming back, like what is alive enough that once people have the liquidity wave, they got their paycheck, they're coming back to the casino, whether it's going to be like a Doge check from Elon or whatever it's going to be. What are they going to buy? And I think we know, they're always going to buy some Bitcoin, probably some Sol, maybe some Doge, especially if it's a Doge check. I'm sure that's going to like fly.
You glossed over ETH. Sorry, Justin.
No, I mean, it's what's there to say, right? Like ETH needs to prove itself before it's like deserving of like getting a bid on, right? Like ETH was anointed in 2022. It didn't go down as much as Bitcoin. It went down to 888 was the bottom, but really that was a wick. It was $1,000. Bitcoin fell just as much, if not possibly more. Like Ethereum people had a great time during the bear market. It really wasn't that painful, and was consensus, and it was Ethereum's game to lose. And like they've lost, right? And like they have to prove that they can come back for people to get interested. That's just the fact.
Yeah. You kind of just have to.
But yeah, I mean, my point is like something like Pengu, right? Like you either believe that this type of coin, like a community NFT meme coin, like when the vibes are good, it'll have attention, and like Luca will ship something that will get a lot of attention. It'll be interesting. If you do, I mean, obviously this thing is at all-time lows, much off the highs. Same as like WorldCoin. Do you think Sam's gonna let it die? If not, like obviously, like it's gonna go multi-x from here. This ARC AI16Z stuff, I'm not in love with it, but at these prices, it's like if they're actually having a community, then once Solana kind of goes back up, those seem to be natural things to reinflate. So buying a few things.
Yeah, I mean that is the interesting thing about AI16Z, right? Like sure, probably 70% of the time it fails, but it's down 90% off the highs, right? Like it's not implausible to think of a world where Shaw keeps grinding through however long this bearish period is, and it comes out on the other side.
Yeah. Cool. Should we go to pasta?
Let's do it.
Markets are getting.
Well, what was that, Taiki? Before you cut off, you said markets are getting. Now I'm on.
I was going to say poo-pooed on.
Pumping.
All right, let's kick off. Justin, I have not seen your pasta. I'm curious. What do you have for us?
Yeah, did you guys, any of you guys see? It's actually kind of sad. BitBoy posted a video of him like going through a therapy session, and it was kind of sad because like he was getting this mental health counseling, and you could just tell he was manic. But then he posted, "I always wear a Burberry bag. Other than that, I'm completely giving up on designer clothes. I'll exclusively be wearing Target and Walmart clothes. Every day will be a mission to look cool. I'm super excited for this to be my new style." And then Reptard here retweeted, "They can take his pride, his car, his wife, his career, but they will never take his Burberry bag."
Man, this we saw SEC dropping lawsuits, and one of the crazy ones, they actually dropped the one against Richard Hart.
Really?
I
didn't see that.
Yeah, apparently it was a jurisdictional issue. Like they don't know if they have jurisdiction or something. So talk about Burberry bags. It seems like it's still possible that some of these guys will be saved. I was seeing that. I'm like, man, and then the Trump tweet about XRP launched, like the XRP ADA tweet, and I'm like, are they gonna put Pulse and Hex in the fucking National Reserve now? We're gonna go from like trying to chase this guy from Interpol to like dropping the lawsuit and then like putting his shit coins into the reserve. Like, I don't know what's happening.
That's funny.
Is Hex a buy? Just kidding.
If Hex is goes back in, if goes into some reserve, we got to get Eric Wall back on the show. I think he'd be done with crypto then.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
What do you have?
Yeah. So maybe. So I think at the beginning of the live stream, I saw a comment that you want Ethopium. So I'm like, okay, like let's do this. So DC Investor, he always shares the hopium, right? He had this tweet of, it's not that one, Justin. DC Investor had yeah. So can you click on the photo? Yeah. So DC Investor said, I had to look it up. It's true. A publicly listed corporation on NASDAQ just approved ETH as its primary treasury asset.
Oh.
So BioNexus Gene Lab Corp, BGLC. Wow, like fantastic, right? The institutions are coming. Then DeFi Ignis you scroll down a little bit, and then you look at the stock, and it's like a 6 million market cap, down 60%. Ethereum aligned the stock.
Oh man, okay, painful. Thanks for the hope,
maybe it's
man.
really over for us ETH people.
This is 34 cents. Maybe ETH BTC can go to 0.034, the next pump. But that's all the hopium I have. Sorry, guys.
Thanks for the hopium.
I kind of rugged you guys.
Man, can you even imagine a world where ETH BTC is back at like 0.07?
Lots
of things have to change. It's possible, but it's gonna take time. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of BTC, we had Sachs, his post explaining that they will not be spending money to buy Bitcoin. They will just be using what he called market neutral ways. They will investigate other ways to buy Bitcoin that are budget neutral. So this is very interesting. Budget neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin without cost to the American taxpayer. And we had a Michael Saylor comment below here. He says, hey guys, I have a few budget neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin. So this was an epic one, I think. Indeed, he does. And
he does.
I don't know exactly what are these budget neutral ways. I guess it means either they're thinking about selling one of their other assets like gold or XRP maybe, and buying Bitcoin with that. But if they want to harvest the volatility of Bitcoin through some convertible notes or something, maybe Michael Saylor can help them out.
Just curious, like, do you guys do you actually think it's a good idea for countries to have a Bitcoin strategic reserve, like specifically for the US? Do you think it moves the needle or makes a difference?
We don't really know what's going to happen to these coins in the reserves. Like usually reserves, like FX reserves, you do use them up at some point. Like, when your currency is really weak and you got to buy it back, you sell the dollars. You know, there's the oil reserve we have, the SPR, and the petroleum reserve basically is used when the prices are too high. I think Biden used it pretty aggressively to get oil prices down. Is the Bitcoin reserve going to be used when like Bitcoin price is too, like, you know, gas is too high, and then they start dumping Bitcoin so that people's inflation of gas is okay? Like, I'm not exactly sure for a country like the US what it would be. So it seems like a bit of a political thing.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I think Besant is gonna manage this reserve, right? So it's up to his discretion. Like,
it is pretty cool to have a sovereign wealth fund. I mean, for most countries like Norway, stuff like this, Singapore, you know, Emirates, they have professional fund managers that are, you know, hedge fund managers running the country's wealth, just like any you know, family office needs to do. Like you have a ton of assets, you want to diversify them, you want to get returns. For the US, obviously, like they can just print dollars, so that's like one reason why they don't need it. But we have seen the USD. I saw like the index was down quite a lot. Dollar is like, I think like 103 or something. So you know, that could be one reason why printing dollars infinitely is not going to work. We did see Ray Dalio, I think, say that we think 3 years, if the budget doesn't start getting balanced, that we're going to have a huge problem. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But we got to leave with some hoping. We can't just leave after this doom talk.
Was it doom? I mean, Joey was just talking about how he's buying things.
I'm buying things. I'm buying things.
We're bullish. We're all bullish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm bullish over the next 6 months.
Let's see in this poll. Do we it's pretty close still. We need a few more people to vote because it's still within reach here.
Am I close? I gotta pull it up. I wasn't even watching the poll.
You're not close. You're third, but Taiki's close.
Oh, really? Oh, and thank you guys for 10,000 subs. We've been doing this for 85 weeks.
And I just want to say to the audience, you know, we've been doing this for 85 weeks. It's been a pleasure. But have you said thank you once?
Yo, that was a good one. What the heck?
Yeah, actually make that my main pastime.
Wait, that was a good one. That delivery was insane.
Thank you.
JD Vance.
Yeah, it's a bit scary when even stocks are kind of bleeding like this. I think they've made a decision to just let them. I think maybe they think it's close enough to Biden where they can blame it on him and then just run it up later. So that's fine if they want to pull that playbook.
Is that like a safe playbook though? I mean, while we're in this last minute for the poll, like it's playing with fire, right? Like if you trigger something that is really hard to come back from, you could have like a year and a half long recession, right?
I don't think so. I mean, they have managed to get yields down, and that ultimately can always provide fuel. If you really need to like stop the bleed, you use the fact that you know, yields are a bit lower, so you can print a bit more.
Everyone's saying thank you.
Yeah, Tanel was saying he was afraid there was no podcast this week. I got a couple messages as well. You know, very concerned that there was not going to be a Steady Lads for the first week.
Yeah,
but we made it happen.
Someone said they're too depressed to vote on the poll. Like, guys, the time to get
username is Zero
Berachain
IQ
crypto was a month ago. The time to get bullish is now. You know.
I did say thank you.
Cool. All right, guys, let's wrap it here. Let's see the poll results.
All right, let me pull them up here.
Oh, get ready.
Oh my God, you literally just got it right at the last second, Taiki. All right, well, congrats. All right, good.
Yeah. Damn, the pasta's trolling ETH still works.
It still
I
works.
I was kind of nervous. Like, is it getting too old to like dunk on ETH? But
We might
I
have to
guess not.
ban ETH dunk pastas.
Like how
All
we
right.
dunk warp
And-
pasta.
I talked one last thing. Someone asked for Ethiopium. I talked to Thicky, biggest bear you could ever imagine for crypto. He doesn't even, not even convinced Bitcoin is useful. And he goes, Justin, I'm going to give you some long-term alpha. I might be sharing too much here, but if ETH hits $1,000, I'm buying some and it's going into my long-term bag. So there you go.
$1,000. Oh my God. How is this a positive note? Let's just end. Oh my God. $1,000. I
And
can't.
No,
then
no,
Brad,
that's
end
the
it.
floor.
I'm
That's
gonna,
the floor. So
I'm gonna throw up. Oh my God. If we go there. All right, guys. Been a pleasure. We'll see you next time.